Hello! Welcome to the second last day of 2020. I just wanted to put up a quick video to say congratulations for making it here, first of all. Well done. And second of all, just wanted to say that I'm proud of all of you for achieving what you've achieved this year. And for many of you, that huge achievement was just surviving. Very, very good thing to be proud of. And I also wanted to thank everyone here for all of the support that you've given escaping your comfort zone over this year, particularly. It's been pretty bananas for the whole group, very much bananas for me. But I just wanted to say that without this group, this year would have been much harder for me personally. So thank you for all your input and all your support, all your interaction with the virtual challenges, and for those of you who got back involved with walking with us in the last couple of months, thank you as well. And I really look forward to seeing more of you for next year. We've got some great plans for next year. We've got a whole lot of great new leaders. We'll be setting lots of really cool hikes. There'll be lots of trips as well as a variety of things like biking and stand-up paddleboarding, and always open to suggestions too. So please, suggest anything that you want done, and we can make that happen, including trips. The trips for this year will all be within Australia for obvious reasons, but that's not going to stop us from doing some really cool stuff, and I'll be announcing some of those in the coming weeks. Just wanted to take this chance as well to do a little bit of a kind of wrap up for me personally for this year, and encourage you to share these bits of yourself as well. So we've got a couple of questions that I've noted down. So what's your book of the year? From your perspective, what was your favourite book this year? For me, my favourite book was Becoming by Michelle Obama. Despite the fact that it was a really good book, I think what made it amazing for me was the fact that I listened to it on audiobook and she was reading it out herself. And it was during a long road trip. So basically, Michelle and I did an 11-hour road trip together, and now we're bestest buddies. So that's why I like that one. Podcast of the year. Now, in case you don't know, I'm an avid podcast listener. Been loving loads of podcasts. I can recommend a couple. My favourite by far this year has been Unlocking Us by Brené Brown. If you haven't heard of Brené Brown, go to YouTube and look up the Brené Brown TED Talk or watch her special on Netflix, and your life will change. She's just incredible. She talks a lot about shame and vulnerability, and why it's so important to recognize when we're feeling shame, and why vulnerability is so important to build relationships, and to see yourself for who you are, and to identify that imposter that is often on your little shoulder just talking away. She's really incredible. Every time I listen to her podcast, it changes me in some way, so I highly recommend it. The podcast in particular that I really loved of hers was when she interviewed a person called Harriet Lerner on the art of saying sorry, the art of apologizing. If I can recommend anything to anyone, is to listen to that episode. You will hear a lot of yourself in that episode, and you will learn a lot about what saying sorry to someone really means, and what it means about you. Other honourable mentions for podcast of the year. I really liked Who the Hell is Hamish? For those who haven't heard of Who the Hell is Hamish, that is basically a podcast about a guy who took on loads of different identities and was a con man throughout the world. True story, and just astounding, absolutely astounding. So check that out. Excuse me. Another one that I really loved was The Lighthouse, which was about the guy who went missing, the backpacker that went missing in Byron Bay. Definitely worth a listen. It's a bit of, well, obviously it's a disappearance. They still don't know what happened to him, but it was quite a good podcast. And the other series I really like is Ladies We Need to Talk. It's by Yumi Steins, and basically what they talk about on that podcast is all those taboo subjects. So they talk about period pain. They talk about, what else do they talk about? They talk about masturbation. They talk about the women's role at home, and relationship dynamics. They talk about menopause. They talk about what else do they talk about? They talk about miscarriage and abortions. They talk about those things that we don't hear enough of. It's not normalized yet. Some of it is getting there, but it's not yet. And it's really eye-opening to go, I mean, there's quite a few things I've heard and go, oh, so that's not just me. That's great. Excuse me. Don't worry, I've got my COVID test back. I'm clear. What else have we got? Series or movie of the year. So I have watched quite a few series this year. I wouldn't say there's anything that really hugely stands out. My favourites are always Outlander and Outlander. But another one I found this year on Stan, which I really enjoyed, particularly for the music as well as the actors, was Nashville. That was really cool. And actually one that I just watched this week was called Bonding. So don't watch that with kids around, but it's a bit of a comedy, worth a look on Netflix. Not with the kids around though. My achievement of the year. Well, my achievement of the year was thanks to COVID, and thanks to not being able to run trips, which is how I make my money. I swallowed my pride at the start of COVID, and I got a job on the checkouts at Woolies. That for me was a really big deal. I've been working for myself now for over 4 years, and working for someone else, a bit of a micromanager, was interesting. I should have done this with water. Actually, I've got some here. Give me one tea. Professional as always. Sitting here in my pajamas. Anyway, I've been working at Woolies since the start of COVID. I'm really lucky with my Woolies. We don't really have too many nasty customers, so it hasn't been terrible. But it was a bit of a pride thing that I had to get past to go and just go, you know what, I'm on the checkouts now, and that's okay. And over winter, I started boogie boarding as well. So they're my achievements for the year. It's been, as I said, a bananas year for so many of us. But I'd really love you to share your book of the year, your podcast of the year, your series or movie of the year, and your achievement of the year. So over to you. Happy New Year for 2 days' time. And hopefully I'll see you on a walk or a trip or stand-up paddleboarding or on a beach or something next year. All right. Catch you. See ya. Bye.